Could zombies exist? A scientific examination of the undead in popular culture, the zombie apocalypse has become almost routine. Cities fall, governments collapse. The infected roam highways and shopping malls. Civilization becomes a memory within weeks. Whether in television dramas, video games, or films, the narrative structure is familiar. An infection spreads. Society fragments. Survival replaces law. But beneath the entertainment lies a persistent question that refuses to disappear. Could anything like this ever happen in reality? Not the supernatural version, not magic or curses, but biological zombification, infection-induced behavioral collapse, loss of agency, human beings transformed into something unrecognizable. To answer this seriously, we have to do something most fiction does not do. We must define what a zombie actually is. Strip away folklore and cinematic exaggeration, and a zombie can be reduced to a behavioral pattern. A being that has severely impaired cognition, shows little to no higher reasoning, displays altered or aggressive behavior, appears driven by primitive impulses, often spreads its condition through contact. The walking corpse is the dramatic symbol. But the essence of the zombie is behavioral hijacking. And behavioral hijacking is not fiction. It exists in nature. Let us begin in tropical forests. There, a parasitic fungus called Ophiocordyceps unilateralis infects ants. The process is well documented in scientific literature. Spores attach to the ant's exoskeleton. The fungus penetrates the body and begins to grow internally. At a certain stage of infection, the ant's behavior changes. It abandons its normal routines. It leaves the colony. It climbs vegetation to a specific height. It bites into the underside of a leaf vein and locks its jaws. This position is not random. It provides optimal temperature and humidity for fungal growth. The ant dies there. Afterward, a fungal stalk emerges from the ant's head, releasing spores onto the forest floor to infect more ants below. This is not mythology. It is evolutionary adaptation. The fungus does not intend anything, but natural selection has shaped it to influence the host's nervous system in ways that maximize reproduction. The key phrase here is host specificity. Ophiocordyceps species are highly specialized. Many infect only particular insect species. This specialization took millions of years to evolve. The question then becomes obvious. If a fungus can manipulate insect behavior, could something evolve to manipulate human behavior? To approach that responsibly, we must consider biological barriers. First, temperature. Humans are warm-blooded. Our internal temperature averages around 37 degrees Celsius. Many fungi struggle to survive or replicate at sustained temperatures that high. In fact, our body temperature acts as a defense mechanism. It is one reason fungal infections are more common in extremities or immunocompromised individuals. Second, immune complexity. Insects possess immune responses, but they are vastly simpler than mammalian immune systems. Humans have layered immune defenses, including innate responses and adaptive immunity, capable of recognizing and targeting specific pathogens. Third, neurological complexity. An ant's nervous system is comparatively simple. Manipulating its movement patterns does not require controlling abstract reasoning, memory, or emotional regulation. Human brains, by contrast, are extraordinarily complex. Coordinated manipulation of advanced cognition would require mechanisms far beyond what we observe in parasitic fungi. For a cordyceps-like organism to infect humans, adapt to our temperature, evade immunity, cross the blood-brain barrier, survive in neural tissue, and exert precise behavioral control would require profound evolutionary shifts. Evolution is powerful, but it is not instantaneous. Host jumps, while possible in viruses, are rare and constrained by biology. So while fungal behavioral manipulation exists in insects, scaling it to humans is biologically implausible under current conditions. But fungi are not the only organisms capable of altering behavior. Viruses offer a more immediate example. Rabies is one of the clearest cases of viral influence on mammalian behavior. The rabies virus infects the central nervous system. It travels through peripheral nerves toward the brain. Once it reaches neural tissue, it causes inflammation and dysfunction. Symptoms include agitation, confusion, anxiety, aggression, and difficulty swallowing. The latter symptom increases the likelihood of biting, which transmits the virus through saliva. This is not cinematic rage. It is neurological breakdown. Rabies does not enhance strength. It does not preserve physical stamina. It does not create organized hunting behavior. It produces a severe fatal disease that rapidly debilitates the host. Similarly, encephalitis, inflammation of the brain caused by various viruses, can produce hallucinations, personality changes, seizures, and violent outbursts. Prion diseases, such as Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, cause progressive neurodegeneration, leading to loss of coordination, memory impairment, and eventual death. These examples demonstrate something important. Infection can alter behavior. It can reduce impulse control. It can disrupt cognition. It can even produce aggression. But infection also damages the body. The human organism is not a machine that can be hijacked without consequences. When the brain is inflamed, when neurons are destroyed, when the immune system is overwhelmed, physical decline follows. Zombie fiction often portrays infected individuals as tireless, relentless, and physically formidable. In reality, severe neurological disease tends to weaken coordination, reduce endurance, and impair motor control. Now we confront the most dramatic trope, reanimation of the dead. From a biological perspective, death is not a switch that can be flipped back on. Cells require energy to function. That energy comes from ATP, a molecule produced through metabolic processes within mitochondria. Metabolism requires oxygen and intact cellular structures. When oxygen supply ceases, brain cells begin to die within minutes. Irreversible brain damage occurs rapidly. Without coordinated brain function, voluntary movement is impossible. After death, decomposition begins. Enzymes break down tissues. Bacteria proliferate. Structural proteins degrade. Muscles stiffen, then deteriorate. There is no known biological mechanism capable of reversing widespread cellular death and restoring coordinated motor control. The reanimated corpse violates fundamental principles of biochemistry. So if the classic undead zombie is impossible, what is the closest realistic analog? It would not be a corpse. It would be a living human with severe neurological impairment caused by infection. Imagine a fast-spreading pathogen that infects the central nervous system, causes confusion and disorientation, reduces impulse control, triggers episodes of aggression, has a high transmission rates. Such a pathogen would not create cinematic monsters. It would create a public health crisis. Hospitals would fill rapidly. Healthcare systems would strain. Fear would spread alongside infection. Social order could be disrupted temporarily. But even in that scenario, biology imposes limits. Infected individuals would require food, water, and rest. Severe infection would often incapacitate rather than empower. Mortality would be high. Societal disruption is plausible in pandemics. Humanity has experienced pandemics. But tireless hordes of near-indestructible infected bodies defy physiology. So why does the zombie archetype endure? Because it is not fundamentally about biology. It is about control. The zombie symbolizes loss of agency. The fear that our minds, our autonomy, our identity could be overridden. Infection is invisible. It spreads silently. It transforms loved ones into strangers. These are powerful psychological themes. Modern science, in fact, makes the myth more compelling, not less. We now know parasites can influence behavior in animals. We know viruses can alter neural function. We know ecosystems are complex and interconnected, but science also provides reassurance. Human physiology is robust. Evolutionary leaps required for fungal mind control in humans are enormous. Cellular death is irreversible at scale. Energy cannot be conjured from decomposing tissue. The laws of biology are not easily bent. If a zombie-like condition were ever to emerge, it would resemble severe neurological illness, not the undead apocalypse of fiction. It would be tragic, medical, chaotic perhaps, but grounded in the same biological constraints that govern all life. In the end, the real lesson is not that zombies could rise. It is that life is intricate and fragile. Behavior can be altered. Brains can be infected. Societies can be strained. But the boundary between life and death remains firm. The undead remain a narrative device. And the true story, the one written in cells and molecules and evolutionary time, is far more fascinating than any apocalypse.